So I'm passionate about community building. I think every great opportunity in my life has come from being a part of something like this or some kind of startup community, business community. So super excited for what Will and Sean are doing. Let's give another round of applause to them for the Salt Summit. This is going to be great. I know it. But community building is a passion of mine. I think it's because I like having friends around me all the time. Let's be friends is a motto. So I kind of build communities where I go to increase my friend group. A little bit more about me. So I head up partnerships at Quartile. We're a global e-commerce advertising platform. We help e-commerce brands advertise on Amazon, Walmart, Instacart. We have about 6,000 brands on the platform. I work here remotely, but the company's based in New York. And then, like Sean said, I just started The Shop, which is a local Arizona community for e-commerce brands to come together and to really help each other network. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but my wife started a business in downtown Mesa called New Bride. She sold elopement wedding dresses. And then the pandemic hit, and it kind of basically shut down. And I feel like if we would have had a community like The Shop with e-commerce brands, maybe we'd had more resources to continue. Aside from kind of what I'm working on now, in a past life, I am also a lifestyle photographer. I remodeled a short school bus, and I traveled around national parks taking photos for brands like Tevas, Neff, Tuft & Needle out of here. So that kind of really got me into this e-commerce space and then just community building in general. This is going to be an interactive kind of presentation, so get ready to start talking. But why are communities important? I think Sean spelled out a lot of great ways to kind of structure and why to build a community. But from a practical business perspective, these are some of the reasons I've found that are really important to have a community. So testing new products, launching minimal viable products, MVPs. It's great to have a community to really field feedback, have built-in focus groups. It's really a user base that's ready for you to kind of interact with. It's great for creating user-generated content, so sourcing content. Also sales, everyone wants more sales, right? So that's a great reason for building a community. And then this last part is my favorite, which is humanization. I think a lot of people as consumers, we want to feel a part of kind of a brand experience. I think brands that do that really well, Nike, I think Cotopaxi is one that did it really well in the past. Anytime a brand can humanize itself, I think we as consumers really respond to that. And another thing that, as I was preparing this presentation, I thought of this. Has anyone been to a concert recently? Their favorite band? Okay, their favorite band. Will, what was the band?
It's one of my favorites. We went and saw the Killers in LA.
Okay. And what was it like? Describe to me what that was like.
We splurged. It was my wife's birthday, and we got pit seats, floor seats. And I'm 38 years old, and I don't usually jump up and down at concerts anymore. I used to be all about the pit and crowd surfing. I don't do that. I could not help myself from doing that. They created such energy and a vibe that was why am I jumping up and down right now? I couldn't help it. And so we came away from that concert, and it was when can we see the Killers again? Right. When can I take my kids to see the Killers? What can I know more about this band? How can I love them even more? Because they just drew us in such a way that triggered all of that for us. Yeah.
And how did you feel about the people that were jumping around next to you?
Oh, they were my brothers and sisters, right. Man. We were all having a big family party there.
Yes, that's right. So I saw, one of my favorite bands is Bon Iver, and I saw them in Coachella a few years ago when they headlined, and it was the most unreal experience, almost to a spiritual level. I've never felt more connected to random strangers like on LSD in my entire life. Just like the bond was just so strong, right? And there's a music theory from this guy out of Columbia University that talks about how when you're in a group of people, especially around music, there's like a mutual tuning in that you get, and it like promotes happiness, and there's like a mutual like belonging that happens when you're together. So that's like, I think, one of the really impactful things with like building communities, and I think you can do it without music, and it doesn't have to be at a band, but there's elements that I felt like that today, right? So that's one of the big important things that I like about community building. So I'm gonna outline the building blocks that I kind of use when I build communities. And then we're gonna get into 3 different case studies. And so we're gonna talk about this. And in these 3 different case studies, I'm gonna outline the problem and the buyer personas, and then I'm gonna get your guys' take on what you would do to try to build a community around that. And then we can talk about what I did. Because I don't feel like I did anything that was brain surgery or anything like that. Like, I want you guys to come away from this feeling empowered that like you could go out tomorrow and build a community if you wanted. So what I found, like the best communities are ones that are focused on a problem. So a business that has a problem that they're trying to solve, whether that's they need to increase users, they need to increase sales, they need content, they need feedback. Like, having a problem driving the community like really helps you stay engaged with the community. And as a business, that's really important because community building is a long-term investment. And so you have to keep reminding yourself that, hey, I'm doing this for this reason. The second thing is you really need to understand the buyer personas of your customers and who you want to be a part of this community. Generally, it looks like a huge big spreadsheet where you personify 3 different types of your customers, and you're outlining who they are. Like, you give them a fake name, gender, what's their job, how much do they make in their job, who do they follow on Instagram. Like, you should get really in depth with that, because that helps you drive on who you're bringing into your community and who you want to build your user base. The third thing is, I feel like events go hand in hand with community. Being a part, I don't know if anyone's part of an online community, but in-person communities are way better, I feel like. Having this face-to-face is a game changer. And also there's this element of like FOMO, right? Everyone after this event is gonna see photos of you all here, and people are going to be like, oh, I should have been there. So it fuels the next events, drives the community. The next one is influencers. So for example, I don't know how Sean intended this, but there's a lot of influencers that came to speak at this event. They were sharing with their communities to come. So leveraging influencers is a great way. It's kind of like a hack to building a community. It's like the fastest way to build your community. Number 5 kind of goes back to number 1, but is having value and providing value. That's going to keep people engaged with your community, keep them coming back for more. And then the second one is consistency. And I think that's same with kind of all business takeaways. Like, I think, what is it, most businesses fail within the first year, 2 years. Like, building community is similar to building a mini company. Like, if you're not consistent, people lose trust in you, you lose trust in yourself. So it's a long game, but be consistent because it does pay off. Let's get to the first case study. So when I lived in Utah, there was this new restaurant, well, kind of an old restaurant that rebranded to Zeke's Pie Shake Parlor. If anyone has been to Utah in the past, maybe you know of Sammy's hamburgers. Is a big thing kind of downtown Provo in Utah. But there was a new ownership group, but they didn't have a brand. No one knew about them or anything like that. So they had a huge problem. They wanted to increase foot traffic. It was right downtown. And they felt like we needed to generate a lot of content so that we can get the word out that we're here. The people that shop there were college students. Kind of at the time, it was very big for like Instagram photographers and models. I think maybe that phase has kind of petered out now, but like, I would say 10 years ago that was big. And influencers that wanted to grow their following. So that was kind of the problem in the buyer personas. Anyone have any ideas of what you would do for this business in building a community? Yeah, go for it.
Take local artists and build like, kind of like LA has that like pink wall, but create murals from local artists to encourage people to come take photos by it. I think that would solve increased foot traffic and generating content in a kind of a simple way, and also involve the community.
Yeah, love it. Anyone else? Yeah, go for it.
Make events, invite students. Oh. Okay, make events, invite students, go on campus, give samples, deliver to dorms.
Yeah, great. Anyone else? Cool. What was your name back there? The jersey?
What's up? Casey.
Casey?
Yes.
Casey, man, you are a man after my heart. So that's exactly what we did. We brought in some local artists. We had this wall in the back building, if you can see in the bottom left picture. We built this kind of mural that was a fun pies, shakes, murals. And it kind of go back to this principle. If anyone know who Seth Godin is, he's just like a well-known marketer. And he talks about this principle of a purple cow, where there's so much competition in the space right now. How do you stand out from someone else? You kind of have to have a purple cow. That's why you see like restaurants have like gold-plated hamburgers or like a $5,000 burger. Like no one goes for that burger, but they go like, hey, I'm at this place, they have the $5,000 burger. So that's kind of the essence of the purple cow. So that's what we wanted to create here. We painted this wall, which brought in a lot of foot traffic, and it was kind of viral and shareable. We also partnered with local influencers and photographers. What we found is that influencers and photographers were trying to build their own business and brand and their following, and so we invited them to, we did this weekly, we invited them to host like a local meetup for their followers to come and see them at the restaurant. So this middle one here is an example of a piece of content that we got from one of those meetups. So we partnered with a photographer. She brought her following, which were other photographers, and we just passed out food, and they took photos all day long, and it was amazing. And then the other thing was, getting kind of your local officials involved and local, not necessarily your typical influencers, but people in the community that have influence. So right in the right there's a picture of that's the mayor of Provo. He came in and we shot a whole video and he posted it. That's from his Instagram. So that's how we tackled this solution. And the results, so for the first month, we 3x'd the profits. Through the influencer meetups, we generated over 500 pieces of unique content. And then it really almost cost us $100. So like, that's one thing I want to focus on today, is that like, this doesn't have to cost a lot of money, and you can do a lot of cool stuff. There's a photo right there of a local female blogger that we brought in. She brought her community in, and then Provo Tips was another business that was using our wall to promote their business. So it was great. The next company I want to talk about is one called Social Brief. Social Brief was a platform that allowed photographers and videographers to use their Instagram as their like creative brief, so that they can get more brand deals. So it was an online platform. We connected photographers with brands in order to provide, brand work for the brands. So the problem is, we were just launching. We needed beta testers for this, and we needed paid users. Who we wanted on the platform were influencers, content creators. ones that wanted to work with brands or that work with brands, and then that outside of just like social media didn't have a way to kind of show off their work. So I'm going to open it up again. Any ideas on what you would do to kind of curate a community for this group?
I have a question about Social Brief.
Yeah.
Is it its own platform, or did it
Yes,
work within
its
Instagram?
own platform.
So it's its own social platform.
Yeah, essentially how it worked is that an artist could hashtag Social Brief, and then the platform would pull in that photo that they wanted, and it built up like
It's like a personal portfolio,
yeah, exactly.
if you will.
Yeah, an automatic personal portfolio just by hashtagging what you're already posting. Yeah.
I don't have any solutions. I was just wondering.
Yeah, go for it.
So are these artists that are going to be selling photos or selling?
These are artists that want to work with brands to do paid brand work, whether lifestyle photography, new campaigns for product launches, things like that.
Go to the brands that you would want and say, hey, I have this really cool platform and I'm going to throw artists your way. And then you can advertise and say, hey, these brands said that they're looking for artists. Kind of work backwards a little bit. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that was a later component. Yeah, for sure. It's a great idea. Anyone else? Okay. So what we decided to do was we created a gallery night for Instagram photographers. Most people that like show their work in galleries are like very high-end photographers or painters or things like that. There was no one really serving kind of these Instagram photographers that were producing great content, but they were just posting on Instagram, and we all know once you swipe, you never see it again, right? So, so we created the gallery night because these people are who we wanted to be our users. We wanted to get them in using the platform. So year one, we launched the gallery night. We invited, I think it was 15 to 20 photographers. They came and they displayed their work. Through the night, we were doing giveaways. We had brands that had given us product to give away, and then we did some cool gamification with signups that we'll talk about later in a tool section. And then year 2 and 3, we got local businesses involved. So we had food trucks from around the company, or from around the area came, and then we opened it up to more influencers and photographers. So that's how we decided to build the community around Social Brief. So this was the 3rd year that we did it. I think we had 50 photographers, and we had over 5,000 people come to our gallery night the night that we did it. So this is kind of the results that happened. So the first year, just from that immediate event that we had 200 photographers sign up for the platform. We ran the gallery night for 3 years, and then I moved to Arizona. 50 plus photographers, 3,000 plus guests, and then 1,000 plus posts from photographers talking about the platform because they were hashtagging Social Brief and the gallery night. And then the cost breakdown. So the first year, I think it cost us $200, and then the second and third, we had local businesses that all chipped in, and it didn't cost us anything to throw these events on anyway. Okay, the third one is completely different. It's called Gold Point Systems. I did marketing for Gold Point Systems. It's a financial services company for consumer lenders. Not very sexy or exciting at all. Like, how do you build community around something like this? One of the specific problems that we had was Gold Point Systems was a private company. It had not taken on any outside funding, and I think the nature of kind of building a business today is you go and get, Series A from a large venture capitalist, and there's a huge buzz around it. Like, everyone wants to work for you, right? That's kind of the mode of things that happen today, but that was not how Gold Point Systems was. So no one knew about it. Employees, prospective employees didn't want to work for us. They'd never heard of us before. So that was a huge problem for us. No brand reputation. We couldn't get quality candidates. So myself, as marketing for Gold Point Systems, we decided that we were going to, well, I'm not going to get there yet because I want to hear your ideas, but we wanted to make a big splash in kind of the Utah tech scene. We wanted to attract marketers, developers, investors in Utah, and ones that were, kind of hungry and, had kind of the startup mindset, wanted to scale and how to scale business. So that was the problem and the buyer personas that we were going after. Any ideas on what you would do? Yeah.
Explain Gold Point one more time.
Yeah, so Gold Point Systems is a consumer financial lending platform. So if you need to buy a car and you can't access funds through a traditional bank, you would go through, not necessarily payday loans, but like somewhere in the between. This is a software that run that. What's that? I'm not sure what that is. Any ideas? Yeah.
Would these entrepreneurs, marketers, developer, would they be interested to be featured and promoted so that community know what they're doing? And I mean, right? They're emerging their businesses, right? So they probably like to have some awareness of what they're doing. So I would just promote them somehow, right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Anyone else have any ideas? Okay, what we decided to do, we threw Utah's first kind of demand gen conference as a marketing conference. We brought in speakers and panels similar to kind of the SALT Summit, really. But that was our way of to make a splash in the scene of who Gold Point Systems was. And we focused on kind of actionable workshops. I think a lot of conferences kind of are like high-end fluff. They talk about like theoretical things. So we wanted this to be like how to scale in 1 year, how to scale to $1 million in 2 years. So, and then we also kind of launched a Facebook group and a LinkedIn group to really foster the kind of Utah marketing and tech scene. So this is some of the speakers that we had. I don't know if you've recognized any of these people. So Sean Duras was a big influencer. He also runs like a media company in Utah now. He has a YouTube channel with his daughter, and they do insane amount of money through products and videos that they do through YouTube and Amazon. Freshly Picked, if anyone has heard of that brand, baby moccasins, baby products. We had that founder come out and speak. The founder of Silicon Slopes came out and speak, and then Taft, which is a high-end like boot brand, Corey came out and speak. So this is about 4 of the speakers that came. In total, we had about 30 speakers, over 500 attendees. Really kind of the main results out of this, it kind of put Gold Point Systems on the map. We generated over 50 plus articles within kind of the Utah tech scene, talking about Gold Point Systems, talking about this event. It cost us about $3,000 to put on, and we sold tickets for it. So in the end, the revenue was about 10 grand. So profit about 7 grand. So it's interesting that some of these communities can actually become like businesses on their own. But the interesting thing was that like everyone that we had speak came and did it for free. I think most of us speaking at the SALT Summit are doing this for free because we're extracting value out of it as much as you guys are as well. So everyone did this for free, and everyone wants to be kind of a part of this new emerging community. And I think that's what's exciting. What Sean's doing here is just getting all these local communities together. I think I have a video. This is a kind of recap video of the event. Oh, it's just like nothing. That was just a little teaser video that we're planning on doing for the next conference. So those are the three case studies. Some of the key learnings that I want to really focus on, like influencers can make or break your community. a lot of like really, if you help them solve a problem in their life, then they'll help you do whatever you want. Like I showed before, like all at the Gold Point Systems situation, all those people came and spoke for free and promoted it for free. So really utilize them, but it's not like you have to provide them value first, and then they'll help you out. Community, leverage existing communities. So you have communities in Facebook, Eventbrite, LinkedIn. There's already existing communities that you can go be a part of. You can see what problems they're having. You can post about what you're trying to do. It's a great way to start building your community. Some tools that I think are really key. Back when we did the gallery night, we used this tool called the Mater app, which was a gamification like scoreboard for email signups and referrals. So for example, if you referred 5 people, then it unlocked certain rewards. And it was just this whole gamification process. Like I said, Eventbrite is a great way to find existing events and communities that that you can kind of leverage. Slack, LinkedIn, Facebook are other ones as well. And then don't sleep on ChatGPT and Midjourney, these AI platforms that can really like unlock a lot of the heavy lifting of like content creation to build a community so that you can actually be in person connecting. And then the last piece is just value. And Sean hit this on the head perfectly. And I think your mom said something about if you build it, they will come. So if you provide value, they will come. Like hands down, you keep providing value, people will come. So like that's the big takeaway. I'm glad you focused so much on that because it's huge. Yeah, any questions? Awesome.
For the events that you did with these companies, I would imagine it was the first, like that financial one. I'd imagine they hadn't done an event like that before, right?
Yeah.
So how did you give did you give a visual representation as you marketed the event for people to come? Because I think a big roadblock if you want to do an event like that you have not done in the past is getting people excited about something that they can't see yet.
Right.
So it may hurt your attendance versus if you have a video
Sure.
after the fact, it's easy to go do another event because you have some content to give the audience and encourage them to come.
Yeah, and in a situation like that, like we relied heavy on the influencers. So once we brought the speakers, then we could go and say, hey, this is our lineup of people that are coming to speak. This is the topics. Then people were like, yeah, I want to come. And then on the side of that, like other companies also wanted to sponsor. So like, the lineup of your speakers is kind of your go-to. Like, what is the content? How are you going to provide value? And then,
Cool.
So that's the first step.
Great advice.
Awesome.
This is my contact if anyone wants to reach out. Happy to chat. And then again, make sure to go to theshoparizona.com, sign up to be connected. We're going to be holding local happy hours and events for e-commerce brands around to really pull all of our resources together and help us scale Arizona. Thank you.